It is this meeting. This meeting is called to order. Roll call.
Can the crowd please be quiet, please? Thank you.
Councilman Anderson,
Present.
Councilwoman Perone,
Present.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield,
Present.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Present.
We will now have our prayer by Minister Dion Bolden. Thank you so much for accepting late in the midnight hour.
Dear Heavenly Father, we want to first thank you for this evening, Lord. We want to thank you for the air that we breathe, Father. Lord, we ask for you to be in the midst of this meeting, God, to lead and guide us to do your business for the township, Father. We ask that we be on one accord as we go through the agenda on this evening, God, that there not be any strife or any discord, Father. We just thank you and honor you, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so very much, ma'am. May we
Thank you,
stand now
Mr.
for the
Bolden.
flag salute? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following manner. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal complex and was mailed to the Burlington County Times, the Intelligencer, and the Courier Times. Advance written notice of this meeting was filed with the township clerk. The clerk is directed to enter into the minutes of this meeting this public announcement. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to October. And hope everyone is having a great night. It's good to see you today. Mr. Harris, we can start with you. Oh, I'm sorry, we have proclamation. Does Chief want to read this proclamation today? Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Yes, the chief wants to read the proclamation today.
Thank you, Chief. We love participation. You can come up here. Go ahead.
You need a copy?
Oh, you didn't have to.
Your proclamation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, this week or next week coming up is Fire Prevention Week, and have to read the proclamation to announce that. So proclamation 2023 Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Township of Willingboro is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our township. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations that people are at the greatest risk from fire. And whereas home fires killed more than 2,800 people in the United States in 2021, according to the National Fire Protection Association. And the fire departments in the United States responded to 338,000 home fires. And whereas cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States, and fire departments responded to more than 166,400 annually between 2016 and 2020. And whereas 2 of every five home fires start in the kitchen, with 31% of those fires resulting from unattended cooking. And whereas more than half of reported non-fatal home cooking fires, injuries occurred when the victims tried to fight the fires themselves. And whereas children under 5 face a higher risk of non-fire burns associated with cooking than being burned in a cooking fire. And whereas Council of Willingboro residents should turn pot handles toward the back of the stove, always keep a lid nearby in cooking, keep a 3-foot hit-free zone around the stove and oven, and other things that could get hot. Watch what they eat and set a timer to remind them that they are cooking. And whereas residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan more people, more prepared and will therefore be likely to survive a fire. And whereas working smoke detectors cut the risk of dying and reported home fires almost in half. And whereas the 2023 Fire Prevention Week theme, Cooking Safety with You, Pay Attention to Fire Prevention, effectively serves to remind you, or to remind us to stay alert and use caution when cooking to reduce the risk of kitchen fires. Now therefore, I, K.A. McIntosh, Mayor of Township of Williamsboro, do hereby proclaim the week of October 8th through the 14th, Fire Prevention Week in the Township of Williamsboro. And I urge all residents to check their kitchens for fire hazards and use safe cooking practices during Fire Prevention Week 2023. And to support the many public safety activities and efforts for the Township of Williamsboro Fire. Whereas here unto my hand is healed, Township Steel, the third day of October 2023.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Harris?
Good evening, Mayor and Council, members of the public. So at our last meeting, we were going to make some brief presentations to you. We ran into some technical difficulties. So we are going to begin this evening with those presentations, and then I will get into my manager's report. So we're going to start with Mr. Lowry, and then Ms. Jackson and Ms. Carmichael.
Greetings, council, mayor, deputy mayor, members of the public. So today we'll present to you our workflow, our work management software that we use in the manager's office, monday.com. Specifically, I'll be presenting Monday Work Management. Monday Work Management is our software that we use to track a lot of our projects that we have in town. It's our project management system. Excuse me. It allows us to focus on executing tasks, projects, and processes efficiently, and it helps us achieve our shared goal. How it works. Monday Work Management allows us to build out and organize our project plan in a way that helps us stay on target for execution. So if you see in the picture here, this is kind of the layout that we use, and you'll see this again. I'll go more into that specific project in the next slide, but that's kind of the layout that we use that I use to track the back to school wellness fair and all the goals and the targets, and it helped me stay organized and in my coordination with Dr. Worthy and the rest of the staff. So in this software, it's a really good tool. We can do a lot of customizations and automations and coordinating with different departments, coordinating with ourselves in the office. It's a really helpful tool. It's really in depth. There's so much that you can do with it. For the back to school wellness fair, you see we kind of tailored it. So you'll have your main topic or your main project, right? And the main project was the back to school wellness fair. The first step was meeting with Dr. Worthy, right? To kind of figure out what we were doing, what the plan was. It was a conversation that I had with Dr. Worthy to figure out what we wanted to do with the opioid funds. So we met together and we kind of conceived the idea of the back to school wellness fair. In that subsequent meeting, there were action items that we came away with that we needed to follow up on ourselves. You can see that here. I didn't drop that down in the screenshot, but there were 4 things that we wanted to follow up on after our first meeting. You can go back into those action items, give updates for each individual action item, as you can see right here with the next one. The second option was having a meeting with the staff to discuss the steps and what everybody's role was going to be in executing the event. And then there's sub items for that. You can see that I was supposed to reach out for the vendors for quotes. Officer Landrum was going to be reaching out to some different resources that were a part of that project for us. Again, I also use this to manage our 2023 capital projects, staying up to date with our directors and where they are with their projects, where they are with the procurement of those those projects, just to make sure that everybody's on target and meeting those goals and deadlines to ensure that, you know, if we ask for something, if we ask for these funds, we want to make sure that we're using those funds, using them, right, taking advantage of that for what we requested, and then making sure that those projects get completed before the end of the year. As you can see, I'm going to go and slide to this one. There's a few different templates in monday.com. It's you got project management. You can create different documents, different forms. There's contact forms, things that we can add to the website that help, you know, the website become more user friendly. And we'll be evaluating that over the next couple of weeks. Over the next 14 weeks, we did get an intern that will also help us with making the website a little more user friendly. And that will be that person's main focus. And I'll go back to this slide. And that's it for my presentation for Monday work. Ms. Jackson will present Monday marketer.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
So we, as Mr. Laurie shared, we have the Monday marketer piece, and this is just a wonderful. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. So this in one platform just allows all of us to manage the marketing and creative processes of the township. It ensures that all members of our team are kind of on one accord. We receive the information at the same time. We have the same information regarding updates, edits, due dates, and that kind of thing. So it is a great collaborative space so we can work efficiently and effectively as possible. So how does it work? The resource provides a platform to maintain the content calendar. We manage your creative requests, which I'll kind of go over in a few minutes. We kind of look at the flyer that presented. We upload that to this platform, and it just allows us to create a platform so we can manage, we can implement a marketing strategy. All of that information is implemented on monday.com. So with the Monday marketer, you have a marketing plan, you have a content calendar, creative requests, and a marketing overview dashboard. And this is a kind of a screenshot of what we see, and we're going to take you there live in just a minute. There was a reference to the creative service requests when Mr. Laurie was sharing the different platforms we use. So now we have a link. We used to have, for those who are familiar, we used to have a form, but now we have an online form that's accessible to everyone, internal, external, whoever is requesting a flyer or some other marketing piece from the communications department. And in there you have a place to include all of your information, project title, your name, your email address, so we can reach out to you, what you're looking for, whether it's a flyer or a lawn sign or just a digital board. And it's an excellent tool for us to, like I said, all be on the same page as we review the incoming requests. We identify the status of the request. I can go in and say, deadline is in 2 days, where are we? Or making sure that we're on task, whether there's updates and edits, and making sure that information, it just allowed us to kind of manage the creative process holistically. So hopefully this works, right? Not touchscreen. Okay. And not a touchscreen. So I remember, I thought we populated this. So this is just kind of, we wanted to take you through the process of, I'm trying to make this a touchscreen and it's not. Let us know what you need. So here we would just say, like council flyer. So it would just kind of populate there. Thank you. Okay, request your name and department. We just put your name, whoever your name is, put that in there right in here. And then follow with your email address. You gonna type any of this in for me? Okay. Okay, and then the drop down allows you to pick if you want a brochure, a flyer, digital pointer, a door hanger, whatever it is, and a number of options there. And if it's not there, we can always add it, which is nice. So just hit flyer, okay. And then it's right here is where we have the date of your project due date. I need you to put in some real dates in there for me, Mr. Laurie. Thank you. The date of the event, which is important because we want to make sure that we allow enough time for the marketing opportunity as well. And we are requesting 2 weeks in advance of that, 15 business days to create the project, but we don't need 15 business days, but we do ask that in advance. And we've been doing a pretty good job, been very intentional about turning around that information as quickly as possible. And you'll see that in a minute. So at the end, if you hit submit, did you fill out all the required? Yes. So you hit submit and then it's going to take us, and then you can see Monday.com, you'll see the flyer populated. Okay, so you see the second item here is council sample. So it pops up right here for the whole, all the communications team and even the manager's office are on the Monday.com. So it shares information. So we see the incoming requests and then it kind of tracks our progress. Okay, you received it and you move it to the next field, which is in progress. The next field is first design. If we have additional amendments, it shows when we send it to the author for review and approval. If there's amendments that come back, we make those modifications when we send for final review, approval, and process. And then the final field was completed when we have a place where all of our final flyers and marketing pieces are in one place and accessible to the whole team. So it holds all of us accountable in the department, so we like it. It's been just a wonderful tool to use and make sure that, like I said, our requests are managed, our information is current and up to date, and we have all of the current and updated versions all in one spot, and everybody has access to those. So we enjoy kind of working in this platform. Any questions regarding it? All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Laurie. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to present to you a different tool that we use, which is ClearPoint Strategy. And this one is mainly numbers and goals. So if you are one who is excited to track numbers, then ClearPoint is the great tool. As you can see, when you log in, Willingboro has a homepage here. And you can see what our back to the basics, and it basically tracks for each department how our metrics and SMART goals are linked back to what the vision and mission and strategic plan is for the township. So specifically, say you want to see what were the SMART goals for our community affairs department. You can just click here and see our SMART goals. It is customizable as each department is a little bit different from the next one. So one may be more numbers based than another one may be more project based. So it does take some back end building to go through for each department to make it specific and relevant to the information that you may need. So here we have the goals you can see for community affairs and how it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound, all listed here. I will show you specifically, say you want to see for our public safety department, police, how many calls they may track. So you go to our metrics, calls for service, and calls for service has a description there. And you can see quarterly how we are, what days of the week are more busy or less busy than others. So the numbers will tell the story. And here where you see link objects here on the right, this shows where in the township it is linked to the goal that the overall township goal. And so this is down here, it's just, it's not intimidating, but it's a lot of numbers here, which all just kind of speaks to the graph there. Another one we can look at, I'll show you inspections. So they track a lot of revenue. And so we also have a revenue report that I can show you. Just to kind of see how that department is doing. It'll show you monthly for what specific item in their department and how much it is. And so eventually the goal here is all the reporting will be uniform, concise, in one location versus receiving 10, 12 different reports, having to build it and make it so it's in here it is one uniform location. ClearPoint has been this company has been really great with kind of meeting the needs of the township, asking us, what do you need to show to governing body and township manager to kind of show tracking what you're doing. Another great tool that's in here is a measure library that kind of allows us to maybe see how other townships are specifically tracking. If you want to do a deep dive into numbers for something that may be a hot topic, and then it could be very time saving because you won't have to build a report. There could be something that another town has already done. They have a few other government clients that utilize this service as well. So ClearPoint is just, and it also just kind of gives you a idea of how much is tracked in each department for specifically, say, fire, EMS, when they track all of the fire EMS incidents and how many. In some months they may have 0, some months they may have 15. So it just kind of goes through and tracks all of the numbers for all of the calls that they receive. And so eventually all of the numbers will be data inputted into this system by our direct reports. And then it will give us the opportunity to send out a report, whatever number, if you want to see which department for what month or what quarter, different things, like you could just go in, plug the numbers in and email you the report. And it can also be put on the schedule. So if you need it the 5th of every month, it'll just go on a schedule and nobody has to remember or put it on the calendar. You can tell ClearPoint it's a really great tool for us to track the metric and data.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
One question.
Councilwoman Fair?
Thank you. Just a question regarding the revenues and I guess the other data as well, but in particularly the numbers for the revenue. Where is the data being pulled from? Is this working with Edmunds or is this manually entered?
It is currently manually entered for each department by myself. But it's from the reports that each director turns in monthly. So their mid-month report and their overall monthly report, they send the numbers and then I put the numbers in.
And then are you putting them in like an upload, like from Excel spreadsheet or something, or are you typing in the numbers according to what?
It's typed in according to how they send it. So it's manually uploaded. So eventually, the goal is for us to have the directors put the numbers in.
Okay.
Any more questions?
No, I'd just like to say thank you to the whole team for implementing these tools. It's been a long time coming, asking for these tracking tools for both Monday.com and ClearPoint. So thank you for all your hard work to implement these time-saving and analytic tools so that we can better manage the township. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Proceed, Mr. Harris.
So then we'll continue with the manager's report. I just want to thank my team for preparing themselves for this evening and presenting this information for the benefit of the body and the residents. So our summary report for the month of October, which is really what we've been accomplishing in September. The revenue generated as of September 25th totaled $2,404,586.90. $743,226 was tax revenue and $1,661,360 from other revenue new sources. The monthly allotment of $3,273,775 was dispersed to the Willingboro Board of Education, and $2,167,990.07 was dispersed to the county for third quarter taxes. 85% of the total revenue anticipated in our budget for revenue received has been realized so far in 2023. And that's a really good number in October of the year. In response to a request from Councilman Anderson, a previous question, there was some questions about additional costs to the township for the Juneteenth become a holiday. And that figure, which is primarily composed of emergency service employees who receive holiday pay or overtime, was totaling $48,415.76, and that will be utilize in your further considerations, whether you're going to transition that into a holiday for the township. Our inspections department is continuing to do outstanding work. Not that our other departments are, but I'm quite firm in my belief that Mr. Tunstall, through his diligence, will take that department over $1 million in revenue. So far for the first 15 days of September, they completed 465 inspections, completed 100 or issued 178 violations, and there were 27 summonses issued, collecting a total revenue of $37,803, and that was just for the first 15 days of September. So reports from recreation, this year was the 40th annual Jazz Festival. Again, it was a phenomenal event in the recreation department. Their summer camp this year had approximately 80 children and collected $76,220 in revenue. A total of 8,370 daily pool passes were sold, generating revenue totaling $41,535. So that answers Councilwoman Peron's questions about the cost or the amount of revenue that we're receiving from the pool passes. And again, for further deliberation on your future goals and objectives in regards to that. And then monies that were collected for tennis lessons, just a little over $10,000. During the month of September, for public safety, all of our officers were trained in New Jersey's newly adopted defensive tactics training program based on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I think I pronounced that correctly. Willingboro currently has one instructor with plans to add another one in 2023 and 2024. This particular training allows for controlling resistant subjects while limiting officers and suspects' injuries. And I thank the department for the invitation to participate in those activities, but I respectfully decline. The police department is still giving away free club-style steering wheel locks to any resident or person who works in Willingboro who owns a certain style and year of Kia or Hyundai vehicle. And you can go to the police department and present the necessary identification and receive one if you qualify. Our patrols are continuing to monitor motor vehicle enforcement throughout the municipality. For the past 30 days, they placed their speed signs at 2 locations in the township on Tyler Drive, where they were monitoring vehicles going towards the JFK, and then on Evergreen Drive by Garfield East School, monitoring traffic going towards Veterans Parkway. At points, the sign was turned off for the first couple of weeks with no display, so it just looked like the sign was there. However, the data was still being collected. And in the second week, they did turn the sign on and displayed the speed of the vehicles passing. The comparison between the two is highlighted on Tyler Drive. The average speed was 23.3 miles with the sign off. And with the sign on, the average speed was 22.2 miles per hour for just a decrease by 1.1 mile per hour. On Evergreen Drive, there were 14 days where the sign was off. The average speed during that 14-day period was 30.64 miles per hour with the sign off versus 28.9 miles per hour with the sign on. So we are continuing to monitor speeding and traffic all over the township. And I know Captain Bucks and his department are designing very effective measures to handle our problem areas. And I thank them for their diligence in that. 5 days ago, we were proud to announce that our new hot patcher was put into service. As of this morning, in the past 5 days, our Public Works Department had the ability to remedy 181 potholes in the township, with 55 of them being on Moss Hill Lane. That was up this morning. The the patcher was out this morning, so I'm quite sure that's probably over 200 by now. So I salute our Public Works Department for working on this long-time problematic situation in the township as we do look to resolve these infrastructure issues. Some of the projects that we are continuing to work on are Fund Year 2022 NJDOT Municipal Aid Application, where we received $267,672 to repave Bradford and Blueberry Lane, is still moving forward. The contractor did receive a notice to proceed back for September 11th. However, construction has been delayed by the contractor due primarily to the amount of rain that had been received over the last few weeks, causing some delays in the contractor completing other projects before they could get to Willingboro. However, we do expect this construction to begin by the end of October. And if it does not, we will consider issuing a notice of violation to the contractor. PSC&G has been continuing to do some work in the township in preparation for our upcoming road project in conjunction with its gas line replacement project. A Matrix Red Drill, that's the name of the company. They have been doing drilling and sampling all throughout the township. I think on September 26th, they completed 57 of the 381 locations that they will be sampling throughout the township, focusing primarily on areas at the southern portion in the Millbrook sections of the township. They did resume their sampling yesterday, October the 2nd, and plan on completing an approximately 78 locations this week, focusing on the remainder of the southeastern portion of the township and moving on to the northwestern portion, which is in the Somerset section of town. Many months ago, you did authorize us to work in conjunction with Rutgers with the installation of the rain garden. That work is going to begin at the JFK Center. I do believe I shared the initial design with the body. Rutgers has agreed and will install and maintain it for the first year. We will train our DPW and other volunteers to maintain it thereafter. Willingboro will also be the recipient of 10 free trees from Burlington County, and we will be picking up those trees on October the 20th, and we are looking at various areas to plant them around the township. Those are pretty much the items that I just wanted to bring to the body this evening, but I did want Ms. Jackson to just let you know what activities are going to be occurring through the township over the next couple of weeks.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
All right, so first we just want to start off with our cleanup event, which will be on Saturday, October 7th. That's at 9 a.m. We'll convene at the Kennedy Center. Mr. Gaines will be leading that effort, and registration and more information is available on our website. So we invite friends, family, residents, and community organizations to join us in our commitment to keep Willingboro clean. So we look forward to seeing everyone join us and being a part of that effort. On Monday, October 16th, we do have a COVID-19 and vaccination and flu clinic at the Reba Foster Senior Center. That's from 3 to 6. No appointment is necessary and available. This is always available to our residents twice a month, and we just want to let our community know that it's now available on the first and third Monday. So we always direct our residents to our website and our social media platforms for more information regarding that. On Saturday, October 21st is our community indoor yard sale. All spaces have been sold for that event, but all are invited to attend this year's indoor yard sale, which will be at the main gym at the Kennedy Center beginning at 8:30 and wrapping up at 2. On Saturday, October 28th is our annual Trunk or Treat event hosted by the Recreation and Parks Department. This event begins at 2 and will be held at the Kennedy Center in the parking lot. It's open to ages 12 and under. As always, we need trunksters and volunteers to make this event a success. And if you're interested in being a part of this event, you are encouraged to call the Recreation and Parks Department by Monday, October 23rd. So we're looking forward to another successful Trunk or Treat event. The police department on the same day will be hosting its annual Take Back initiative from 10 a.m. to 2, and that will be held in the back of the municipal building and police department, residents are invited to dispose of all old and unneeded medications and turn those into the police department. So please make a note of that. And then December is full of a number of festive events to include our annual tree lighting, which will be held on Friday, December 1st, our Santa Run on December 9th, Jingle Jangle Jam on December 15th. We do have a number of other ones that are kind of pending. We are planning to host a house decorating contest this year, so we're excited about that. But we have a number of events hosted by River Foster Senior Center and our library. Most are free and open to the public, so we do encourage you again to utilize our website, our social media pages, our YouTube channel, Comcast 28, and our Willingboro Weekly for more information. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. Jackson. So we do have a lot going on in Willingboro, and you know, as we move into this fourth quarter of 2023, you know, we do extend our thanks and appreciation to this council for all of its support and in the functions that we do and the resources that you provide us, giving us the ability to do it on behalf of the residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Harris for his update? Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Harris, for your update. I did have one question regarding the speed monitoring. One of the things or the average that you use, I know sometimes the average speed can be skewed by folks that are going absorbently slow or on the other side. So just consider the use of other numerical tools, maybe median or mode, so that we can get a different picture of what the speed is on those roads, because we do get a lot of complaints. Also, I just wanted to highlight, as you talked about PSE&G, it is fall season, which means it's getting dark earlier. And there are, just driving around, I have noticed a number of streetlights out and inoperable. So just maybe we can enlist the police support to assist us in noting which lights are out, so that we can report those and get them repaired by PSE&G. That was all I had, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Harris. I wanted to know if you're able to share where we are, or if we're able to do anything about the traffic signal for Windsor. I know that you were in conversations with the county and just didn't know if there were any updates at this point.
So we have been in communications with the county. They're going to do their assessment, and they have not done that as of yet. But they did say that they would go and do their assessment and evaluation of the intersection, and then they will get back in touch with us.
Thank you. Do we have a tentative timeline or anything that
I do
the
not.
county has committed to?
But I will reach out to them and see if we can get them a little more definitive.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Councilwoman
Thank you.
Cabral?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Harris, I'm not sure if we were gonna talk about this under old business, but did you have any updates on the trash pickup? Like follow up from our last conversation with regarding to the bids and
Yes,
have
so we are in the process of reviewing bid documents from other municipalities to look at the languages and things that that are included therein. We have been doing some numbers crunching. As a matter of fact, our tax assessor, because he's just a great numbers guy, and our DPW director had a meeting today, and they were looking through some of our historical data as to, you know, what our previous collections have been, our tipping, what we've been taking to the dumpster, to the dump, measuring that against when we were collecting twice a week versus the 1 week collection. And we're trying to put together numbers to really determine, you know, there were some cost savings when we went to the once a week, but, you know, what really were those savings? And, you know, by modifying our contract, you know, how is that going to affect essentially the bottom line when it comes to collection? So we are putting together those numbers. We will formulate discussion and then have that with the governing body laying out some options, and then ultimately you're gonna decide what you want to do.
Mhm.
And then that's how we'll move forward.
Do you have like a rough estimate of when we would be at that point to look at what you've put
I don't
together?
have a rough estimate, but I know that there are timelines that we need to work in. One thing I do not want to do, Councilwoman, is rush it.
Right.
I want to be very thorough, but we are moving forward in the process.
Okay. All right, and then with regards to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is that open to council as well? Or is that only? I
I
mean,
don't know if I want you to.
I took up judo.
Yeah, serious.
That was specifically training for the police department. So, yeah, thank you.
It's fun.
All right, that's all I have, so thank you.
And can we circle back around to the deputy mayor's remarks or questions?
Mhm.
What was the question?
You.
Okay, I heard.
Never
what she-
answered. Yeah, we never answered.
Was that a question? I thought she was giving me instructions
Oh.
to work in other metrics to determine,
Okay.
right?
Well, then I have a question concerning the speed. We are I understand we're collecting those data points, but what are we looking to do with that data? Because I do think sometimes the signs or the police signs actually deter speeding. And when they're not there, then it's back to normal speeding. So I'm thinking we should have sometimes a man or a person patrol to make sure that we're accommodating, we're trying to make sure, if speeding slows down on those streets.
Right, but unless I am, there's another mechanism, the only way to monitor speeding is through some type of radar device. And those.
No, but it's
those-
so obvious. It's right there. You see it and I saw it on Beverly Rancocas. People are speeding until they see that sign and then they slow down and the read goes down. And right after it is, the speed is.
Right, but the only other mechanism would be to put a police car out there with a radar material in it. And what are they gonna do when they see that? They're gonna slow down.
No, they get caught. No, I mean, we have to do something, because I witnessed still speeding after those signs have been put up and taken down.
So, and yes, and I will not deny that. The reality is that people speed everywhere. There will be instances where you will witness, somebody speeding. Unfortunately, that's going to occur everywhere. But what we're doing is we're trying to capture the data to see how bad the situation is and then develop a plan to fix the situation. For example, we were talking about the speeding on Beverly Rancocas Road and the trucks and things, and the police began doing a 3 times a day, speed monitoring. And, they've been issuing summonses and things like that. When that goes away, will the speeding go back? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But we need to collect the data and then develop a plan to address the problem, whatever that may be. Part of the problem on Pennypacker, and we determined that we wanted to put in speed bumps. Now, I don't know that we've done any follow-up to see if there has been any modification in the speeding on Pennypacker since the speed bumps have been implemented. But the first thing is to really determine how serious the problem is. If it's an all-day, 8-hour-a-day, or is it problematic during certain periods of the time, or certain periods of time during the day, like going to and from school, and then, set up some type of enforcement to address those, different problematic areas or situations or times of day. Does that make sense?
Looking into it.
Yeah, and I'm okay with collecting the data, but we just got to be conscientious that, there are nuances and, that we keep in mind that people do slow down, and I don't know if it's the real indication on, what the issue may be. So,
Right, but that's, okay, I got you. We're looking into it.
Madam
Councilman
Mayor,
Anderson?
I know as we did on Pennypacker, we were doing an assessment of other streets that I guess the engineer was looking at as far as speed bumps went. But what I do know is I know, like, as the mayor said, when you put the signs up, they slow down.
Mhm.
A lot of times when there's no signs, and we as just resident people, we get these complaints that they're speeding. And I understand there's periods when they don't speed, but all it takes is one time for a
Right,
child to get hit. So I understand the metrics, I understand what happens, but at the same time, it only takes one situation.
right,
So as we do know, streets like Evergreen, streets like Tyler Drive, where there's a long strip such as Pennypacker Drives, this is something we need to consider. Understanding that data that you have may indicate low speed limits, but it just takes that one time. So that's something we need to consider, especially on those long strips, because we know what happens. So when you do your metrics, you may get, like I said, 90 people driving under the limit, and you may get 5 over the limit, but one of those 5, may cause a fatality. So that's what we're concerned about as a council. So I just want to make sure that we're looking at this from every single angle and
Mhm.
still moving forward with the opportunity to install speed bumps on some of these other streets as we, make this assessment, collect the data. We still want to see what those numbers look like. All right?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank
sir.
you. Anything else from council? Okay.
I
thank
did
you.
have one last
Go
thing.
ahead.
The free trees that we'll be receiving, Mr. Harris, I just ask that they're not the white pines that we're having issues with throughout the community as it stands. Just being really conscientious with the type of vegetation that we add, and make sure that it's a sustainable option for the community. That was all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we can move on to the resolutions, please.
Okay, so the resolutions being presented to you this evening is resolution number 2023-2021, which is a resolution authorizing the ratification of a successor agreement between the Township of Willingboro and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, otherwise known as AFSCME. Council number 63, the Supervisors Association. The Supervisors Union has negotiated with the township a proposed contract for January 2023 through December 31st, 2026. The terms of which have been memorialized by an agreement that contains previous provisions with respect to compensation and other conditions of employment. And then we are asking the council ratify this agreement and put it into effect for 2023 through 2026. Resolution number 2022 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract for proprietary gunshot detection solution, also known as ShotSpotter. Captain Brooks made a presentation a few months ago related to that. The township received a $99,000 grant towards that, and we are asking to authorize the 2-year contract for the ShotSpotter system to be installed in a 1 square mile area of Willingboro. Resolution number 2023 is authorizing the approval of vouchers and the payment, vouchers for payment and ratification. Resolution number 2024 is authorizing the application to obtain a grant from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. Willingboro desires to apply for and obtain a grant from the NJDCA for approximately $2 million, which was already presented to the township, but we have to go through the formal application process, which includes a resolution from the governing body to submit an application. These monies are going to be utilized to expand the Reva Foster Senior Center and the John F. Kennedy Recreation Center. And we're asking the council to not only approve the submission of the application, but we have to have a collective discussion about developing plans as to what we're going to do with the Reva Foster Senior Center and with the JFK Center. So I would like to set up some time to discuss the options, and we can put together a cohesive plan that both the township and the senior center finds palatable. And then we could go ahead and do design and move forward with the expansion and remodeling in that very useful space. So that's resolution number 2024. Resolution number 2025 is a resolution not to exceed the amount for Florio, Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, Tipton, and Taylor for the provision of Labor Council services. They have been serving as our Labor Council. We have been very busy with union contract negotiations and what do they call when they, arbitrations and things like that. So we were a little shy in our not to exceed, and we were asking for an additional $25,000 to cover our anticipated expenses for the remainder of the year. Is it 35? 35. 35, yes. We are also asking for an increase of the not to exceed amount for Xtel for telecommunication services. There were actually some monies that were put into a capital budget a few years ago, $15,000 that was allocated to improve the infrastructure at the JFK Center, which was never utilized. We did reach out to Xtel to see if they would still honor some of those pricings, and they agreed to. So we're just going to increase the not to exceed for them so we can use that $15,000 to deploy some wiring, upgrade some wiring for internet and infrastructure, to deploy some cameras in the JFK Center, and a sound system, a speaker system, a loudspeaker type system in the JFK Center. So we're going to ask you to approve that as well. Resolution number 2027 is a resolution appointing Taylor Law Group LLC as Labor Counsel to the Township of Willingboro. Our solicitor or Labor Counsel, Lester Taylor, who was formerly with the firm that we are looking to provide additional funds to, has decided that he was going to go out and create his own firm, Taylor Law Group LLC. The administration asks the council to assign the above contract from Florio Perucci to Taylor Law Group and appoint the Taylor Law Group as Labor Counsel for the remainder of 2023 through the 2024 reorganization meeting, or until a successor law firm is appointed. We are also asking that we give them a not to exceed amount. Is it in this resolution? $35,000 for Labor Counsel and related legal services. So we have budgetary numbers to begin to pay them with. And those are all of the resolutions that we are presenting to the council for approval this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I'm going to ask if there's any public. We're opening up public comment for agenda items only. If you have any questions or concerns about the resolutions presented tonight, please raise your hand or come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Public comment is now open for agenda items. Is there anyone online, host?
Not at this moment, Mayor.
Thank you. Public comment is now closed. Public comment for agenda items is now closed. Council, are there any resolutions you would like to pull out for further discussion? No. I just want to pull out 227 real quick. But I'll make a motion for a consent agenda of resolution 2023-2021 through 2026.
So moved.
What's the
Second.
She means.
All right, moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. I'd like to make a motion to approve. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolutions 2023-2021 through resolution 2023-2026.
Second?
Moved by Mayor McIntosh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Whitfield. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes, please. proceed.
Resolution 2023-227, resolution appointing Taylor Law Group LLC as labor counsel to the Township of Willenboro. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Dr. Worthy, seconded by Deputy Mayor Whitfield. Any discussion? I just have one point of discussion for this one. I have no problem appointing them. I just want to make sure there's no conflict from their company. I know it was verbally said, but I'm not sure if we can make sure that they won't come after, Florio will not come after us, or there's no conflict with allowing Taylor or picking Taylor to be our solicitor.
So these are agreements that Mr. Taylor worked out with his firm as a partner in his separation. With him leaving and taking some employees and clients with them. I don't know how I can determine if that's a conflict, because that would be their internal business decision.
I mean, I think what we could ask for is if there's an agreement, I'm sorry. If there's an agreement between Perucci and Taylor as a separation agreement, which I'm sure there is. I mean, it's been represented to us that Perucci's done, they're in agreement with this. But I think we could get something in writing from Perucci, and I think Mr. Taylor should be able to get that, saying that we consider our contractual obligation closed with Willingboro. And therefore, we have no objection to proceeding with the Taylor Group going forward. So, I mean, we can hold this and.
Or is there
get
any,
that.
or is there any way we can
Haven't-
add that to the resolution,
Well, another thought would be, just like we do some of the other positions where we have a pool, if we added them to the pool, which allows us to use them, because what we have, 3 months left?
yes.
I mean, there's another option if we put them in a pool, which makes it real simple.
Do we have a
We don't
pool
have a
for
pool.
labor?
Not for
labor,
labor, but I know some of the other ones, but if we, that would be another option,
Right.
just to put them in a pool and we just use them.
I think that gets too messy. I think if you need anything in writing, I mean, and I believe Lester Taylor had called each one of us individually. To me, it just, and he's not asking beyond 2025, we're just
understood.
speaking about, and he. Right. I know.
Understood.
That's your year, we do. 223, it's, I mean, in this sentence here, it says assign the above contract from FPS, that long FPSCT to law, to Taylor Law Group. It says that that's what we're doing. That company has assigned it to him and appointed Taylor Group, then we're appointing Taylor Group as our labor council. So I guess if you wanted something in writing from the firm,
I just want confirmation, because I did get the verbal, right? And there was nothing, and I didn't know if.
maybe
you
they
had
could write
talked-
us a letter, like.
Right,
from-
yeah, I'm okay with
Yes.
going proceeding, but I just want to make
Okay.
sure that we don't
There
jam
should be-
ourselves up,
I mean, I've
if-
dealt with this many a time
Mhm.
in my past, and there should be no problem. Assuming, and it's every representation is that Perucci agrees to this assignment.
Yeah.
There should be no problem getting a written confirmation from that. So what I will do is I'll call Lester, tell him we would like to get written confirmation of the assignment from Perucci. Copy of the assignment,
Right.
if there's probably an
Mhm.
assignment.
That they have no
document. They might
issues.
not want
Right.
to share all of it because it's probably
Right,
proprietary
right.
stuff.
Mhm.
But I will talk to Lester and we'll get written confirmation if
Okay.
Perucci's not raising any claim. And if that's the case, then I have no problem with going ahead with the contract. with
Okay,
Taylor Law Group.
yes.
But I guess for the purposes tonight, do you want to hold that or you want to make it conditional upon?
I want to make it
receipt?
conditional, that's, I
Okay.
mean, if that.
Yeah, we
you
should
will,
just
Yeah, conditional,
move forward.
yeah.
I have a follow-up question. Madam Mayor. Will that be the same process for Oprah? Because they were our Oprah attorney as well.
That's
I know we
another-
had talked about that. and I don't know if we've gotten confirmation of that or not.
Well, I got a resolution and I will have this added in the municipal update. And unless Mr. Sullivan is moving forward with Mr. Taylor, I would like to remain where we are with Oprah.
Okay,
with Floria.
with Gloria. Okay.
Right, and so there is a
That's a good
separate
question.
resolution that came
Correct.
after the closeout of our agenda.
Okay,
So I did put that on for new discussion.
okay. So this is just for labor and
Just for
not
labor.
for
Mhm.
Oprah.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good question.
So the motion that will be made will be conditioned upon receiving proof of the assignment and the
Correct.
acceptance of Perucci of the end of their contract.
Okay. with that? Everybody- Okay.
So we're changing the resolution to read what again, Mr.?
Conditioned upon the receipt of confirmation from the Perucci group that they consent to the assignment and that the contract with them is no longer going to be in place.
Roll call.
I would, let's do that just to be safe. So there should be a motion to rescind the prior motion, and then we'll introduce the new one.
I rescind my second.
I rescind my motion.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I
Now we,
move to appoint Taylor Law Group as
conditioned upon,
the labor attorney conditioned upon proof of transfer,
correct, assignment.
proof of assignment.
Second,
Thank you.
what she said.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Whitfield, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Continue, Mayor.
Yes, please.
I need a motion for approval of the treasury report, please.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Anderson, seconded by Dr. Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
I need an approval of minutes for September the fifth, 2023, and September the 18th, 2023. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone.
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
I need a motion for finding and determination for Corpus Christi Church for a raffle December the 15th, please. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilwoman Worthy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
Yes.
Councilwoman Worthy.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes.
Mayor, what we had on the municipal update was reminder for sanitation discussion, pool pass discussion, and Juneteenth discussion. And I also added the Oprah attorney situation that it is my recommendation and would like to keep the Oprah request where it is till the end of the year.
All right, so that's for this is municipal clerk's update, the Oprah. You prefer to keep it?
Yes.
Okay. Keep it with Florio.
And also, it has not hit your calendar yet, but just dates to consider for the budget discussion, November the 1st, special meeting for November the 1st and November the 9th. If that's okay with you all to do the announcement, and whether or not you want the discussion to start at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. for that special meeting. Keeping in mind that the council meeting is November the 8th due to election, and November the 21st, right after the legal municipality conference.
All right, so you said the 1st and the 9th.
Yes. And what time would you like those? 5 or 6 or 7?
I'm okay with the 1st and the 9th. at 6.
Of what month?
I'm also okay with that.
November 1st. November 1st.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was wondering if council also wanted to decide about the November 21st meeting. I know last year it came up closer to the date of the meeting, that it was the week of Thanksgiving, and being mindful of travel of, the administration employees being off. Didn't know if we were looking to still meet November 21st or change that date. So just wanted to bring that up as we're getting closer to the holiday.
For the budget meetings, is everyone okay with the 1st and the 9th?
I'm okay with it.
I'm fine.
Yes.
5, 6, or
6.
6? Okay with you, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 6 for that. Does anyone have any thoughts for November 21st? And we can have a meeting, or we can push it up or back, or just cancel it. Councilman Anderson, you have your thing.
I ain't gonna be here anyway, so I don't
Okay.
know what y'all gonna do.
Thanks. Or preference, Councilwoman Peron?
I'm okay with skipping it.
Okay.
Can we check with the administration and see if
Yeah.
it's
There's
gonna be
something
anything
pertinent. Yeah,
like that we would need to take action on that would throw the scheduling off? Maybe they can let us know about the next meeting.
right. So then we can take care of it the week before.
Yeah, that's fine. Or you let us know, Mr. Harris and Madam Clerk, if there's anything that'd be pressing for that time period.
I can share that if we send out the request for qualification by Friday, I guess we could look at how long do you want the request for qualifications to be out? For professionals 2024. I thought it was 30 days.
Yes, 30 days.
So then we can do it the first meeting. Y'all can have it the first meeting in December to look. The packets be back in time, like
Okay.
we have all of November to be advertised.
All right, so we'll hold off on the decision for that date, just to kind of get together what we have to get done. Right, the 28th. Okay, so we'll figure that out for next meeting. All right, is that it for municipal clerk
Yes,
dates? Any updates on liquor license? We have our liquor license application open, or,
it is open.
okay. Liquor license applications are open. Is that posted?
Right,
Okay,
yes,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, moving on to unfinished business. Did you want to discuss anything further with the trash? I had that. No, I responded,
Yeah,
okay.
I was okay with his response.
And just clarification for pool passes.
Mhm.
Just trying to figure out what population you're trying to accommodate for just a free admission into the pool.
I was just thinking of the residents,
Like all
really.
ages.
Yeah, the families that are residents here. And I know that can get pretty tricky, but those that are, and I think you had spoken about that, one way to identify residents was that that's if they have children, of course, but those that have children in school, but those that don't, I think it's something that maybe go based off their taxes, if they can prove this is your family size that live with you, something like that, or we can even limit it to 4 per family or something like that, just to kind of have something for those 2 months. I know it's a revenue aspect as well, but and people come from different places,
Right.
believe it or not, to come to our pools. So, but just for the residents only is what I was thinking of.
But for your intention is all residents?
Yes,
not just
all
the way
residents,
it's-
the
okay.
senior residents,
Okay.
children, the families. Mhm.
Okay.
But we have been having this discussion. And the problem that we foresee is that there is not really a clear mechanism for us to identify who is a resident versus who is not. So you may have family members who live in Willingboro. They may have identification, they may not have identification. So how do we really identify who is a resident? a tax bill is not going to identify a resident. These different mechanisms are not really going to be able to clearly identify who is or who is not a resident. And if someone shows up with 16 people and they're all residents, then how are we able to really say that they are not if we can't definitively prove that they are?
So that's what I was saying that, well, one, you have a state ID, that's number one. Number two, if you have children, then their school district. Number two, taxes is one of them. The other thing is, again, you could limit it to 4 per family household, and then issuing some sort of, once they've signed up for the year, for the summer, some sort of badge that they have that gets clipped. I don't know, something that's associated with that particular household. And they can, something like that is what I was thinking.
And we can still work through that. I just wanted to get clarification on what your intention was
Right, the
and what
details.
population we were trying to accommodate. So we can still work through that and present different scenarios
Okay.
as we, work through it.
And I'd be interested in accommodating all school children that are enrolled in Willingboro Public Schools. They're the primary population that uses the pool. So I'm interested in that avenue. Maybe not all residents,
maybe
because
we
that's a difficult, as Mr. Harris said, it's a more difficult measure to track, but I definitely support all school-age children.
I'm open to that too. Just starting it off with just students, of Willingboro. And plus, once we do it that way, we'll also have like an idea of a process, just kind of going through the first summer of, what worked, what didn't,
Okay.
tracking. But yeah, I'm okay with students.
Okay, so we'll continue to hash it out and come back with some alternatives
Dr. Worth.
I would like to add students and seniors.
and seniors.
Yes.
I agree with that.
That live here, right, that live here.
That live in Willingboro.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of guests that visit this Reber Foster Senior Center that don't live in Willingboro.
Right.
So they
Those
have
who
to,
do, yeah.
they have to have two proofs of residency. I mean, again, you have your electrical bill, things like that, but something like that.
We're in agreement with seniors and
Right.
school age, okay. And then I did for unfinished business, I just wanted to remind council that we do have executive session tomorrow for interview for municipal clerk, 5:30.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry, 5:30, so it's special executive session. Is there anything else for unfinished business? All right, anything for new business?
One thing.
Go ahead.
I wanted to revisit this thought. I'm not sure if you were here when I had brought this up before, Mr. Harris, but I had spoken about us looking into getting BIOS or a different cable provider in Willingboro. And there was some research done before, and some of the issues was that the current setup of the cable wiring is above like the traditional way. And there was something around it where the community didn't buy in on it or something like that. The township council didn't agree with whatever financial cost would to get the wiring to go through our community. I did have a conversation with Verizon and I think Verizon only. But they have a challenge with coming into Willingboro because we don't have the wires for them to set it up. And they're interested, but the township needs to have some sort of agreement. This topic came up. You weren't around with this time, right? Have you heard of this before? Have you heard of this topic?
I've heard of the discussion about having other cable service.
Okay. Okay.
I was not aware of Verizon ever making an approach to the township expressing a desire to come here.
This was a few years ago. So I wanted to see if we can revisit that now that you're in office in the seat to see what does that look like to offer a different option for our residents? Because currently, basically, it's being monopolized by Comcast.
So again, Verizon would have to express a desire to come here. because essentially they're the ones that are going to bear the costs of installing the wire and creating their infrastructure into the township.
I mean, they can come here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in that order. You could, it's like if you have a home and you want to put cable, they don't have to contact you. They could send something in the mail and you could also call them. But if you want them to call you, they can call you. But I just wanted to put that on the table to see because I'm trying to remember the whole details of what happened, but I think it was and it wasn't this council. I don't think it was this council administration. It was another. So if we could just open that back up to look into that. But if you want to contact, I don't have a contact name. Like I didn't go into in-depth discussion.
Yeah,
I just,
I can find out. We can
Yeah.
have enough contacts at this on the state level.
okay.
Were you saying
And
that they wanted us to invest in the infrastructure or they were?
I don't remember why it felt, there was some discussion about it, which, and I don't believe I was on council at that time either. There was another sitting council. Something happened and it didn't go through. And then when I just called as a resident, asked, why don't we have, they said, because we came there, this is what happened. They told me that they have a history. They came and Willingboro didn't buy in on it. I don't know what that means. So I didn't you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I don't know what that means either, because when the cable franchise, when Comcast came onto the scene, they were compelled to contract with the municipalities because at the time Comcast was specifically a cable TV provider.
Mhm.
And then the municipalities were entitled to revenues and things like that. When Verizon decided to get into cable business, the circumstances were that their primary course of business was not cable, it was telephones.
No, I'm aware of that.
And there were some liberties that they were granted, where they were the ones that actually were determining where or they would not just set up shop.
Oh,
So
okay.
if they want to come, there is nothing that Willingboro can do to keep them out, but they have to make a determination that they're going to invest in coming into the town.
So, I'll get you somebody to speak to, but the
Okay.
point is, I did not make a contact with anybody
Okay.
particularly. I just asked why don't we have this service here? And I remember that it has to do with the wiring. There's
Mhm.
updated faster speed
Yeah.
wires and it goes underground. It's not something that's the old fashioned way. So there was something about they had trouble with agreement with the council or the township or somewhere
Okay.
where, so I'm just saying if we can just revisit that and see what was what. And to look into it and see if we can, it doesn't have to be Verizon because they're not the only ones that offer this service. It's just that we can only get Comcast because that's the wiring that's currently there. But that's what it has to do with. It's not about, and I remember that they were only a phone service, but they have faster speed, fibers, BIOS that goes underground. Just wanted to see if we can bring that up in the new business to look into it.
Madam Mayor, so as a part of that council, our infrastructure wasn't suitable for them. So that's why they didn't want to bring it here to Willingboro. As you indicate, the wires going to ground, ours were above ground. So because of that, they kind of like skipped over Willingboro and said, we don't offer the services to you guys because our infrastructure wasn't compatible at the time. So that's what those conversations were.
So if we could look again, and that sounds about right, but we can look into it again because they didn't say that they would not, that there's like impossible. There was some other blockage that happened. I just wasn't on council at that time, so I couldn't.
With the rest of council, like, revisit, open that up, for, I'll say competition of services for Willingboro residents.
I'm open to it.
Yeah, I don't mind if we pursue that.
And if they're gonna dig up for wiring, they can work with PSE&G to get our electrical underground too. That'd be a nice joint venture.
That's true. That's all I had. I
Thank
just
you,
wanted to bring that up.
Councilwoman.
Thanks. Thank you.
Anything else, council, for new business? New business? Okay. Moving on to public comment. Public comment is now open. Public comment is now open. Any questions or concerns? Please state your name and address for the record. Public comment is now open. Anyone online host?
Not at this moment, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Public comment is now closed. All right, open up to council comments. Any council have any comment for tonight?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Excuse me, when I'm talking, can I get silence out there? I always wanted to say that. Always wanted to say that.
Yeah, you can hit the gavel.
I always wanted to say that one. Okay, no, but thank you. I just want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. I want to thank Marvin and Public Works Department for doing an outstanding job with the hot patcher, getting so much done, especially with Moss Hill. You know, they came in, they expressed their concerns. We were able to get right on it, make things happen. So I appreciate that so much. Also want to acknowledge that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Domestic Violence Month. And I want to thank Mr. Harris and his team for doing a great job in supporting the strategic plan that has put in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to say thank you to Mr. Harris and the administration. It's been a long time coming as we've been working towards accomplishing things on the strategic plan. I remember all the cross-eyed and crossed arms when council first talked about the strategic plan, and it's been blossoming, and it's just nice to see how we're all moving forward and seeing the value and being able to have, broader goals. And it makes it very easy to see the work that's happening, because we have a way to see it, to measure it, to really appreciate it. Not that the work wasn't being done, but now we can see it. It makes more sense to us to be able to see it presented out. So I really appreciate it. I'm hopeful that it gets to a point where the reports kind of run themselves and it won't be so tedious to update. But I do appreciate the level of effort that has been extended and expended to get us to this point. I also wanted to add to the different months of observance. It is also National Bullying Prevention Month. And all over the country, children are learning about bullying and what it is, what it means, whether it be virtual or face-to-face. And it's a wonderful thing to see that. And so I wanted to read just a brief thing about it. And it's something for the children, but also for the adults. October is National Bullying Awareness Month, and this is an opportunity to encourage the nation to take action at the local level to create safe and supportive organizations. Bullying is unacceptable, and comments or conduct that disparages or demonstrates hostility or aversion should not be tolerated. By being accepting, kind, and inclusive, you can help make the world a better place. Together, we can create a world without bullying. And I think it's a wonderful reminder as we are teaching our children and reinforcing and underscoring that same message as adults. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to be able to remember the importance of bullying and bullying prevention, especially in a society where suicidal ideations are at an all-time high. Mental health diseases and challenges. People are facing all sorts of things, and we saw that through COVID-19. So just another reminder, just to be kind. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Perrone?
Yes, I wanted just to say again, kudos to Mr. Harris and your team for putting together those tools. I'm definitely one for organization as far as process and looking, at bigger projects and breaking them down. So you guys are awesome. So, and ladies. So thank you for putting that together, and just have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Perrone.
All right. Just a few things from me. I just want to underscore Councilman Anderson's comment about the potholes, reinforcing that we do hear you. So thank you to the residents of Moss Hill for coming out and expressing your concerns about the condition of your roads. We heard you, and that was, as we promised, number one on the list to address. So I hope you are enjoying not having to drive through the obstacle course, as you called it now, and having a much smoother ride there and throughout Willingboro. Also, a reminder for other residents, if you have a pothole on your street or one that you notice or drive past often, please be sure to report it in our Willingboro Connect app. That is the primary way to get things addressed. Those notifications are tracked and timed and followed up on by our staff. So we appreciate your downloading and participation in this community effort as we connect Willingboro through technology and continue to improve our community overall. Also, another reminder that the community cleanup is October 7th at 9 a.m. As stated earlier, keeping our community clean and the Clean Communities initiative has been near and dear to my heart. And thank you to Mr. Gaines for continuing this effort and making each one better than the last. So I look forward to engaging with many of you as we clean up our community in preparation for the winter season. Last but not least, vote by mail ballots are now out. So please make sure you participate in our democratic process. Send back in your vote by mail ballot. The drop box also is open outside of the municipal building, as well as early voting will start at the Willingboro Public Library on October 28th. That will run through November 5th. And then there'll be a break to reset our community for Election Day on November 7th. So make your plan to vote early. And we look forward to record numbers coming out to participate in this election. That is all I have for this evening. Thank you, Willingboro, for your attention and participation.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. As indicated by Ms. Jackson, there is a lot going on. Our staff here at Willingboro works really hard to make sure that we have activities and functions for our residents. And there seems to be a lot this month. So we should be able to see everyone around, especially in this month of October. We also have a school board candidate forum. School board, we have a lot of people running for school board. 16 people for 5 slots. So there is a candidate forum, and I want to say it's put on by the Delta Sigma Thetas, ATAP, NAACP, Neighborhood Watch. And forgive me if I'm missing anyone, but it starts at 9 a.m. at the Epicenter in the East Ridge Plaza. I think, you know, to be educated voters, you know, you want to see who's out there and who's running and have your questions and concerns for them at this forum. Again, I hope to see everyone throughout this month. I'm sorry, Saturdays. Yes, it's at 9 a.m. before the cleanup. Same time as the cleanup.
Divide and conquer.
Oh, yeah, split the, you know, it's like Eagles and Eagles and Giants. I go 2 different ways. Not the Giants though. Okay. But yeah, so please participate. We had the trunk or treat, and I know a lot of residents were concerned about Halloween. Willingboro does not prohibit Halloween. If you know, a lot of people were saying it on the line that, you know, Willingboro, our ordinance is that we have to be in by 10 o'clock. The curfew is 10 o'clock, 9 p.m. So 9 p.m. Okay. But, you know, if you participate, we are, you know, a town that does Halloween. Also, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our Madam Clerk's birthday that just passed on October 1st. So I always want to wish her a happy birthday and many, many more happy and healthy ones. Thank you for all you do. And that's it. It's 8:30. Maybe I can executive session.
The basis of the executive session is discuss the issuance of a license.
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman Worthy, seconded by Councilman Anderson. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone.
No, yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
was just looking good.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield,
Yes.
and Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. Thank you. We will not be making any decisions. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Willem Borough. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, Gary.
Minister Bowman.
Gary's got bullied last night.
Yeah, the base side.
He's, oh, we're back on. Okay.
I need a motion to come out of executive session, please.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Perone. Roll call, please.
Councilman Anderson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Perone,
yes.
Councilwoman Worthy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Whitfield.
Yes.
And Mayor McIntosh.
Yes. I make a motion for adjournment.
Second,
So move. Oh, second, third, all that.
Moved by Councilwoman Perone, seconded by Councilman Anderson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Opposed
nays?
have the same right. It is 8:36. We are adjourned.
thank you.
All right.